Hello YouTube, it's Aaron with his long hair. You ain't a developer if you ain't got long hair, or you haven't had long hair in once in a while, yeah? We all get it. It gets long and you cut it off again, yeah? I've been doing some work. I haven't been putting out any ISOs. I've been doing things in the background. Things have been slow. There's been no updates to my website. There's been no updates to many of my pieces of software or things that I released, and that's because I've been focusing on trying to make a Hyprland. Well, it's more like an application that runs on Hyprland. I'm going to be producing it with Hyprland. I've got plans of making maybe a plasma version or something else, but I'm going to start off with Hyprland. I actually want to get onto Hyprland myself, and I think this is quite cool because it's kind of a desktop that runs on top of Hyprland that I've created, and it's took me many weeks. I've also created a recovery tool, and I've been working on my ISO creator, so I've changed that up a little bit. There is a few things in the mix that I've made, so like there's an Arch package system that I've created, and it allows you to download the Arch packages and back them up, or the ones that you've downloaded get saved to a log file, and the date and the time that you installed it. And basically it's just it's like a mechanism for the Arch package manager to make it easier for people to be aware of what they're installing, and you know, of course, if you want to back up the package, you can back up the package, and then you've got that package from the time that you've obviously downloaded it, and it works well because it can do multiple packages and not just one. And it took me a while, so it's not just a small little project, and it is pretty much built. If I can show it in this video, it's going to be part. It will be part of what I'm showing. So I've actually got a lot of stuff that I've built, and we've got this for the apps. So this is called the download package at the moment. What you do is you open it. You've got the package utility that allows you to download and store packages, download and install packages, download and install packages. Only store the package name into the log. That will of course add the time and the date. Install the packages from the log. So there's a load of packages in the log that you can pick from. It actually shows them one by one, and the date and the time, I'm pretty sure as well. You can update the packages and clear packages. If we go number 4, we can definitely, you know, this is the packages that you can choose. It tells you the date. For the individual ones it's a bit off, but you know, there definitely can be some improvements. I don't know about the Squash FS thing yet, but that was added for some reason. You can update your packages and clear the packages, so to run the sudo up pacman -sy u to sudo pacman -sy to update the packages, and then syu to install them, and then it will clear the packages with the -scc command. And you can also open the logs. So I think we'll open this back up quickly and then show that you can open the logs. So the custom, we'll go to the custom applications in a minute, but you can of course open the logs, and it'll tell you, you know, you've got update logs, and you've got so this is what I did, tells you the date. It also will tell you what you've downloaded. So the files actually get saved as a dated file, so you know which date, and then it tells you what package in the dates. I don't know about the time, so the time obviously wasn't added. I might have to do that. But we've got all these custom applications that I was going to add into it. So you've got my system app built into it, and I've made a few changes to that as well. We've got my ISO creator of an old version integrated into it, and we've got the Arch installer and the Apex taskbar, which is what I'm going to be showing now. To be honest, all these applications were basically built in as .h files, so it's going to be incredibly hard now to actually get this out, because I've made a few changes to some of these applications, which I will then need to of course integrate into this. So this is something that might not come out. This is just something I'm basically just having a bit of fun with, but it is definitely saved, so I can make changes if I need, and if I do want to push it out. So what I'm working on now is something called Apex Recovery, and this will of course have my Hyprland desktop that I've built. So if I go to music and I come here, this is the desktop that I've built, and it's took me ages. The backup to it is pretty much the same as the finishing product. I've done this 3 times before I actually got something. For this to be a Hyprland desktop, of course I'm going to have to integrate the hyperctl commands, and this command here will not work because this is for plasma only. To get the console to open, of course I need to make it open in a certain window. I've got the commands for this, funny enough, because I created something else. And there's files that are stored in the applications directory that allow you to save certain application names to here. And then of course we've got all of these different options and things that I've added. At the moment, it is still kind of a demo, and I had a lot of issues just turning it into a desktop, so I'm working on that. I actually have it as a desktop, but then I couldn't have I didn't know how to make the applications load onto the different windows, so I've done a lot of research into that recently, so I can actually use this, which is what I'm doing with my new recovery system. So my new recovery system looks like this, and we've got all these different options, so you can install my software, which will be the Hyprland system with this that automatically loads into this. In fact, I can show you exactly what I'm on about. We've got music on every single tab. It might put some people off, but this is what I'm doing with this. So I'm going to load up a virtual machine. I'll just let that load small quickly. I've actually made a loader, so if I go back to here, go to build, no, where was I? Because I've got a lot of stuff. I've actually got a lot of stuff. Yeah, because the Apex Recovery is not what it's called now, it's called the Apex Tools. So we've got this new loader, and this image is going to be usable as well. So you can select this image for any of for the two options on the left and the right. You can change the background image to this image here. It's going to be supplied. But this will basically load you into a selection menu that allows you to select the options. There's going to be a slider that allows you to put it as select an option, or to automatically load into this, or to automatically load in the ISO creator, or to load into the Gamester, which is the desktop. So this recovery allows you to install this onto a USB, and then also it allows you to set up a drive with 4 different individual partitions on it. So one system will be this system, and then you can install a custom system onto the opposite side with the other 2 partitions. And at the moment I've got it set up for a 100GB drive. So the first 2 drives are incredibly small, something around 25GB, and then the rest of the space is used on your custom distro, which is what you're going to be able to install with this option here. Now I've got some music, so I might just play that and turn it up a little bit so people can hear. It might play twice. So basically, if I can pause this, basically the plan is, the plan is to have the browser, because the new update hasn't been added to the Hyprland system. This is Hyprland, of course, so I can close this and you have the Hyprland desktop. But this automatically loads into this application. I've made some changes so that the browser is its own tab, so I don't have to try and look for the PID or anything and mess with it trying to open it up as a window. It will automatically load as a tab. So if we go back to here and we go here, type this in, it's going to take me to my application, and then we can open it back up. This is an old version, so the tab itself doesn't currently work. We're going to pause the music. The tab for the browser doesn't work. I haven't added it into this version. I was doing some testing. But we've got all these different options. Like gparted was going to be an option, but for some reason it don't work. So I might have to make my own little application for that. We've got a YouTube thing. Of course you're not going to be able to see it now, but it does open in the background. It opens to my YouTube channel for this for Apex. So I'm going to be adding this video to the YouTube channel. Now I've got a bit of a problem because of course I've actually exited out. But I will come off of this and I will show you the newer version, which is obviously on my plasma system for now. And what we've got is we've got the music, and then we've got the SourceForge project page if you want to go to it. I'm not too sure what happened. Oh, I'll have to change that page for some reason. It's changed my page, so I will have to edit that again. But if we come back here and we load it up, we've got, like I said, the browser opens as its own tab now, which took me a while to fix. What else have we got? We've got my SourceForge page. So yeah, the SourceForge page works on the newer version because of course there's some newer updates, and this allows you to download it. I've also got, so when you go to your custom distro of choice, when you want to install it, you can select an ISO or you can select a Squash FS, and what it will automatically do is install it to the opposite, the second partition that you set up with my script. So the script that I've got here are all here. So drives 1 will set up the 100 gigabyte. Well, I'm going to have it as two different options. I'm actually not showing. Oh dear. I'm pretty sure that's meant to open up another page. That's not meant to open up that page. It's meant to open up another tab. So the tab that's meant to open is this is annoying now, because now I've got to go back and edit all this code again and hopefully get this to work. So it will. There's another tab. It opens up another tab and it allows you to select either 25 GB drive, which will set up for will only set up a 50 GB drive or 100 GB drive, and it will set up in a different different sizes for the 4 individual drives that get set up on that partition. So you've got on the 100 GB, like I said, you've got the 25 GB system on one side, which is going to be the Hyprland and my application, and also there's going to be the recovery, there's going to be the Gamester, which is what I'm calling it, Apex Gamester, which is the desktop environment. I've got Apex Recovery, which is the recovery system, and the Claude Mods ISO Creator will of course be part of that you can load into automatically as well. So 25 GB will be the system, and then the other side, which will be your custom distro, will take the rest of the space, which is around about 85 GB if I'm correct. So that's what I'll be focusing on. The other tab actually had this image here, so I don't know what's going on. The bot has obviously removed the feature. I had a lot of problems with the bot as it was. Anyway, we're going to move. I don't know what else to show really. There's not really much else I can show other than that. Obviously, we've got something built, and you can download ISOs and you can download SquashFS files from any link, and it will save it into the applications directory, which then you can select. And once this is fully built, I'll have a download ready, because at the moment it's still testing phase. The drives 1 works, drives 2 works. So like drives 2 basically allows you to just update the operating system. No drives. So what I mean by this is that I've got 2 individual bin files. So this one here will set up the drives and also install the system. and then this one here is for drives 2. So this will basically install to the 2 drives that you did set up using this original script. And then of course I have got a USB script, which doesn't make no sense to me because it takes a bit of a while to install to the USB. But you install Arch to the USB. I need to tweak it a little bit. And you can run Hyprland from the USB. So I've actually done some testing to test this. It booted into it, but now I'm having some sort of an F-Sync issue. And I do believe that's something to do with the journal or something. And I've got a video that I have been watching that I used to make my script. So I know there is a few things missing that I need to add. At the time it was only a bit of testing. So there's more to be done with this script. And I'm fully aware that, you know, there might have been some issues because I did skip some of the process. Although at the time it did install directly to my USB, it took me an hour to install to it, and then it takes about 5 minutes to boot in. But it is certainly possible, and that's why I've made my application and I've put it into a Hyprland system that you can install onto a USB. And then you don't need ISOs, you don't need to boot into ISOs. This is the whole point of the recovery system. So if you're on the recovery system, if I boot into the recovery system that's on a hard drive, all I need to do is download an ISO or download a Squash FS file and then install to the second set of partitions. There's no need to boot an ISO from a USB. That's the whole point of this application, Apex Recovery, is to defeat to make the whole point of booting from an ISO obsolete. I don't like it. With my ISOs they could be a bit troublesome because of the software that I use. There's a copy to RAM sometimes, and this, that and the other. Well, this gets rid of all of that. You don't need to do that. You just download an ISO, you select the ISO with the Apex Recovery on the right tab, and it will install it to the second set of partitions. Then all you've got to do, because it will take around about probably the best part of 2 minutes to install depending on the file size, 1.7 GB, believe it or not, only takes 30 seconds with me. And I can say that because I've done my testing. Here is the file. It says 1.5, but we're looking at about 1.7. 1.7 takes 30 seconds to install to the second partition. At that time, once it's done, you reboot and you're already into the system. I was into the Hyprland system within 1 minute. Because we don't need to set up a user. We don't need to set up the locals. We don't need to set up half of the things that are already set up because the system was cloned with your user profile. We don't need to make a new user. We've already got a user. We don't need to set up the SDDM because the SDDM set up to your, you know, all of this malarkey that Calamari's uses is because you're setting up a new system. We're not setting up a new system. Well, we kind of are, but we're not making a new user and new configuration files. All the configuration files are there. You know, the only thing that you really need to be doing is to copy the files and generate the kernel to that drive in a certain way. You can do it in different ways. So you could have the boot on one drive instead of having it as SDA, or you know, the system is SDA2 like I do. So there's lots of different options, and I just obviously use a certain way. But yeah, that's it really. I really don't know what else to say. I'm working and trying different things. I'm doing it slowly but surely. I'm watching films, drinking coffees, eating good, to just keep myself stable at the same time as doing what I'm doing, because now I've put a lot of stuff on my shoulders which I really didn't want to do in the first place, and I've got long hair for it. So I'm doing it slowly but surely, but the finishing product is here in the video. This is actually what I want to do. I want to get the recovery out and I want to get the desktop out. I'm working on the recovery first. The desktop was the first thing I ever made, so I will be going back to that because I actually want to integrate it into it, which is why we've got the loader. So the loader obviously loads like this and shows you the 3 individual things that you can select, and then obviously the next part of this is basically to have like a slider where you can select option 1, 2, 3 or 4. So option 1 will be Apex Gamester, option 2 will be Claude Mods ISO Creator, option 3 will be input an option. So basically the slider allows you to select something that you want to automatically boot every time you boot into the system. So that if you want the Gamester to boot automatically, you can get it to boot that. But at the same time, it's going to give you about a 5-second countdown to change that option as you boot in. So when you boot in, you've got 5 seconds before it automatically boots into what you've selected, and then you can change that to something else at that time before it obviously boots into that option. That's what I'm doing next. That's what I'm showing today. I hope you've enjoyed my video. I want to keep this short. I don't want to rant on or go on. I'm getting into Hyprland. I'm keeping to making my plasma desktop. I'm just keeping a variety of things going in the mix. You know, I don't want to just stick to one thing. I'm very creative. I've got a lot of time on my shoulders here and there when I can be asked. So I'm just using my time for what it's worth, to be creative and just explore the 7 Seas. I hope you've enjoyed what you're watching, and it's a hope you enjoy what you're watching. Hope you're having a good night or day, whatever time it is when you watch this video.